Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, from
So
my
we can
end.
see.
Good, good,
Let's see.
good. Yes, Data Shield, you have a question. Please shoot your question. And after you, Onwuzurike can ask his question if he's actually raising his hand for a question. Please go on.
Right. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Mine is not really more of a question, but a kind of contribution. So about the recording, since you have a YouTube account, I think
Why you guys
maybe
talking about
the
this?
recording
I don't
should
like you guys
just
talking
let you
about
guys
this
talk about.
recording.
So it's going to really help us too, because for me I'm currently in the office now. I might be leaving the office anytime soon, so that I'll be able to follow up when I get home.
Can we attend class first before you guys worry about recording? Whether I give the recording or not, it's my property. You guys should, oh Jesus Christ, these people are killing me. Please, let's do class, okay? We don't have time. I have a lot to cover with you guys. Seeing that over 100 of you reacted to the message where saying that you were beginners. See, I have a lot of ground to cover because it means that I have to start from the start of things, okay? Good. So now, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this class on SQL for data analysis, where we'll be working on the project using Microsoft SQL Server. Now, you see this application that you're looking at here, this interface, this is the Microsoft SQL Server interface, okay? That is what you're seeing here. Who in God's name is sharing their screen in this class? Oh my God. Please, can you not share your screen? Olajide Peter. Hey, God. All right. Please. Don't distract this class. If you are sharing your screen, me, I cannot share my own. How can you take over from sharing this screen? Hey, people will not see now. That's why you guys are not seeing anything now. Because someone else took over. Oh, Jesus. If you guys keep distracting me like this, the class is not going to be formed. Please. Right, so I'll try to share again. I was sharing before. Somebody started sharing their screen. It took over mine. All right. So please let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see.
You can't see or you can see?
I can see.
I can see. We can see.
All right.
We can see.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying before the cockroach interrupted, this application that you're seeing here is Microsoft SQL Server. And this is the interface where we'll be using for writing the code, executing the code, creating the database, executing our codes, okay? Now, first of all, I think, give me a sec. Give me a second. Can you hear me very well?
Not really. You're breaking.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Much better.
much better.
All right. So now, you see, considering the fact that over 50% of this class is, I think, beginners, I will start from the ground level of things, okay? So the first thing, why we are here today is because we want to talk about SQL, okay? And the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is SQL? And SQL is an acronym that stands for Structured Query Language, okay? It stands for Structured query language. And in layman terms, I could say, or we could say, that SQL is the language that is used to communicate with databases. Okay, we're going to come to what databases are. Okay, now you see. Okay, let me pause there. Can you guys see my screen? And can you hear me very well?
Yes, yes, from
Yes.
my end.
All right. So if you cannot hear me, it is from your side. Stop disturbing me. Stop disturbing me. Okay. Now let me proceed. Now, when we talk about databases, now listen to me carefully, listen attentively, because this is the foundation of SQL. And if you listen to me very well, I'm going to change your life with this class. Now, in the past, we talk about SQL, or we talk about anything that has to do with SQL and databases because of data. Now, you see, in the past, data was stored in using file sharing systems and other method of storage, like files and all of that stuff, okay? So, but these systems that were used to store data, they were not efficient enough to hold large amounts of data, hold data in a secure place, or even store the data effectively, okay? So there was a need for a system that could hold this large amount of data that the world is producing, okay? Now, for context, let me give you context. Do you know that 90% of the data in the world currently, of the entire data in the world currently, was produced in the last 2 years? I mean, we've produced more data. The world has produced more data from 2003 up till today than the world has produced data from 2003 to time beginning. You understand? You see how vast the data is right now. So
I'm working
there
on
is a
that.
need
Yeah, we
to
have not done it.
have.
It is after when we resume back, we are going to be doing SQL.
Okay, mute
Why
your
are
mic
people like
now.
this? Why are people like this?
Who be this?
All right. So now there was a need to have a system that would be able to store this large amount of information that the world is producing. Okay. Now, say for example, even your normal, I believe that everybody here knows what Microsoft Excel is. Even your normal Microsoft Excel, your normal sheet in the Microsoft Excel sheet can only hold about 1,048,000 rows of data in a plain sheet. You see, that is not really much. For context, do you know that Facebook produces about 1 petabyte of data? Do you know the amount of data that you could see that is 1 petabyte? It goes beyond megabytes, it goes beyond terabytes, and then it enters petabyte. That is a large amount of information. You understand? Daily, millions and millions and billions of data is produced. In the normal banking industry, you see the way you do your normal transaction, where you send money from OPay to Zenith Bank, that is data. You understand? This conversation that I'm having with you now, that I'm exchanging information, this is data. Your computer system is constantly collecting data from you. Do you know that WhatsApp sells your data? That is how WhatsApp is able to make money. You understand? WhatsApp sells your data to other companies, and those other companies use those data to make adverts to you. You understand? That is how they make money. So you see, everything is data. That is why we say data is the new oil. Now, you see, because companies and organizations now understand how valuable this data is to businesses, because companies now understand that, okay, time has passed where if you want to make a sound decision, or if you want to make decisions for your business, you don't just make decisions with intuition, with common sense. Instead, you make this decision based on data, based on statistically proven facts and figures. You understand, which is data in its sense. Because companies, organizations, businesses, or government, and whatever you think it is, corporations, because they understand the value of data, that is why we have databases. Now, you see, before data can be analyzed, data needs to be stored somewhere. I don't know if you guys are you guys following me? Am I making sense for you?
Yes.
Now, you see, before any analysis can be done, before data, because you really cannot make any decision based on data that has not been analyzed. The data needs to be analyzed. Information needs to be extracted from that data. Now, before that data can be analyzed, that data needs to be stored somewhere. You understand? And it is only one system that can hold this large amount of data that the world is currently producing. And this type of systems are called databases. So in layman terms, we say that a database is an organized collection of information. You understand? Okay? It is an organized collection of information. Okay? That is what a database is. So, you see, now, like I was saying before, because the world is currently producing large amount of data, there was a need to build a system that could hold this large data that businesses are producing. You understand? So the data that companies are producing, businesses are producing, is being stored inside of a database. And now, let me now tell you why we are learning SQL, or why we learn SQL in the first place. Now, when databases were created, there was a need for humans, because the databases are actually stored in computer systems. You understand? The database is not physical. You understand? So it is inside of a computer system. Now, for humans to be able to interact with these databases that have been created or that have been designed in computer system, there was a need to have a simple communication system that humans and databases understood. And that was what brought about SQL, which is why we say that SQL is the language that is used to communicate with databases. Ladies and gentlemen, you understand? Am I taking you down the Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Yes, we
Now,
are. Yeah.
It's right
so
on.
now
We are with you.
I want to believe
Right on,
that
sir.
we know
Yes.
why we have SQL and all of that stuff. Yes? Good. So now, like I said, SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL can be used to execute queries against a database. SQL can be used to retrieve data from a database. Now, you see the way that I'm conversing with you in English language, that is what SQL is to databases. For you to be able to access the data that has been stored inside of a database, for you to be able to insert new data into a database, for you to be able to delete data that is inside of a database, for you to even be able to create new databases, you must understand SQL. So SQL can execute queries against a database. SQL can retrieve data from a database. SQL can insert records in a database. It can update records into a database. It can delete records from a database. It can create new database, create new tables inside of a database, and so on and so forth. You understand? Okay? Now, the next question, or the next question you may want to ask me is, why is SQL important for data analysis? For those of you that don't know, SQL is important for data analysis because it provides a systematic and effective way of obtaining, modifying, aggregating, and integrating data from relational databases. This is big English. Sorry about that. But in layman terms, I say SQL gives you, the analyst, the ability to mine complex data sets for insights, allowing you to make better data-driven decisions. Okay. Now, like I told you, a database is, let me define what a database is very well. Let me define it. So, question is, what is a database? Now, follow me closely. This is step by step. Follow me closely. So, a database is a structured collection of data that is organized in a way to easily access, manage, and update information. You understand? Okay. So it serves as a centralized repository for storing and retrieving data. Okay. Now, there are different types of databases. Okay. But for your level, or for the general level, I will divide it into two. Okay. We have what we call the relational databases, and we have the ones we call the NoSQL databases, or some people call it NoSQL, but it's literally NoSQL databases. Now, you see, for data analysts or for the data industry or for the data world, these are the most common types of databases. Now, and you see, when you talk about SQL, these are the databases that use SQL. SQL was created because of relational databases. Okay, so means that we'll be looking at relational databases in depth. Okay, now you see this part of SQL that I'm teaching you. If you miss this part, you have missed it. If you miss this part, you have missed it. So listen carefully. Listen carefully and follow me closely. Okay. Okay. So this I removed relational databases here. So listen carefully. Now we will talk about relational databases. Okay. What are relational databases? So we also call them relational databases. Okay. Now these relational databases are a type of database that stores and manages data in tables. See, listen carefully. Listen carefully. I will take this one again. Take this one again. Relational databases. Hey, listen carefully to this thing I want to say now, because this is going to be the difference whether you understand SQL or not. This is the part where you understand SQL or not, because this is the pure foundation. You've missed it, you've missed it. I'll take it. Relational databases are a type of database that stores and manages data in what?
Tables.
Tables. In what? Tables. Okay. Just hold that very well. They store and they manage data in tables. Okay. And these tables come with predefined relationships. You understand? See the name. The name says relational. When we say relational, when we are talking about something, when we say the English word relational, what are we talking about? Things that have relationship. Yes or no? Hey, see, let me go before I continue. The first thing I always tell people, my students, is the fact that for you to understand SQL, two things. You must understand English language, and you must have logic. SQL is 50% English language. If you don't understand English language, just pack your load, they go. Just the go. Just the go. Because SQL is purely English language. Okay? 50% is logic. Logic is the side that may be a little bit hard for you, because normally as humans, we don't think. But if you're able to think, you figure it out, okay? But English language, if you understand basic English, you've understood SQL. So follow me closely. Now, relational databases are a type of database that stores and manages data in tables with predefined relationships between them, okay? So these tables have predefined relationships between them. So it means that this relationship that exists between these tables have been predefined. They've been created before the tables were created. Yes or no? Is that not what predefined means? Predefined.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good. Good. Now, I want to believe that we understand what relational databases are, okay? Now, let me show you an example of a relational database. You see, this is, so when you come to your SQL Server, for those of you that installed, this is the first time you installed SQL Server. I know you may not have a database, okay? But me, I have a database. So I will show you how to create databases, okay? So when you come to databases, when you see databases, you will see if you've created any database, you will find all of the databases that you've created here, okay? So these are my databases. I will show you how to create a database. Don't be scared, okay? No problem. I got you, beginner, or this is your first time, no problem. It's gonna be easy for you, okay? No fear. Now, these are databases, okay? Now, let's say, for example, okay, let's say, for example, I open. Oh, I'm coming. Okay, let me say this Aurora. Okay, this database is for a bank. Okay, so this is for a bank, and this database contains different tables. Okay, so it contains data about the credit cards, the merchant codes, the transaction. So literally, these four tables here are just data tables that are holding data for this particular bank. Okay. Now, this is what a relational database is, and you see these are tables. It is the tables that stores the data. What is a table? If anybody has used Microsoft Excel before, I'm opening my Excel. If you've used Microsoft Excel before, then you've used a table. It is literally a table. A table is a two-dimensional structure that consists of rows and columns. Name and terms. Should I show you? What should I show you? Let me show you this one. Okay. So this is a table. Okay. Come on, it's loading up something for me. Okay. So this is literally what a table is. This is Microsoft Excel. I believe everybody here has seen a data inside of Microsoft Excel before. Okay. So this is literally what a table is. This is a table, literally. You get, this is a table. It has a column, it has a row. So the data that are inside of relational databases are stored in tables. So you see them, see all of the tables here, okay? So let's say, for example, we want to look at these transaction tables. When you open this transaction table, you would see that we have columns, okay? The columns are literally all of the things that are holding the data, okay? But let me just open this table for you. So let me just say select top 1,000 rows. It's going to open up this stuff, a new screen for me. Good. So this is literally my table. Okay, the transaction table. So this is showing me the date of the transaction, the client ID that did the transaction, the card ID of the transaction, the amount, that was made in that transaction. This is use chip. This column is use chip. That is if the transaction used a chip. So you see, the ones that use chip, they have chip transaction, the merchant ID, the merchant city, the merchant state, zip code, all of that stuff is literally normal stuff. If you use POS, or if you have a POS, you should know about all of these ones, okay? So it's very, very basic and straightforward. This is literally what a table is. That is it literally, okay? Now, we are still talking about relational databases, okay? I want to give you what in details, what a relational database is, okay? Because now, you see, we've not started building. I'm still explaining theoretically. I want you to follow me closely. Follow me closely. Now, like I told you, there are a few characteristics of relational databases, okay? Characteristics, things that make relational databases. I want you to understand all of them, okay? The first one are tables, okay? That is because in a relational database, data is organized into tables, okay? Where each table consists of rows and columns. Each row represents a record, and each column represents a specific attribute. No problem. I'm going to show you, okay? You see, this is a table. True or false? This is a table. True or false?
True.
Good. The table has columns. True or false? These are the columns now.
True.
And it has rows. These are the rows. So a table is made up of columns and rows. You understand? That is literally what it is, okay? So we've established that fact, okay? That the data, you see, in relational databases, to be able to store data inside of relational database, data needs to be inside of a table. That is literally what this is saying when it says data is organized into tables, okay? Now, we also have another characteristics that we call schema, okay? Schema. Now, relational databases enforces what is known as a schema. Now, this schema is nothing complex. This schema just tells you the structure of the database, the data types, or like it just gives you the details of what is inside of the database, okay? It gives you all of the details. That is what schema is, okay? Brief information of everything that is inside of the database, okay? Then we also have what we call primary keys and ones we call the foreign keys, okay? Now, you see, this primary keys and foreign keys, this is the foundation of SQL, upon which every other thing in SQL is built upon. Primary keys and foreign keys. Listen carefully. What is a primary key? Each table in a relational database typically has a primary key. And it is this primary key that is a unique identifier for each record that exists inside of that table. Now, let me ask you a question. I believe that 90% of this class are Nigerians. Eh? Let me ask you a question, a smart question. In a table that is called Nigerians, can you tell me what can be said to be the primary key? In a table.
Name.
No, name is not unique. What is your name? You the answer. What is your name?
NIN.
Wait now, wait first. What the person that answered? What's her name? The female that answered first.
I didn't say name. I said NIN. 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 That's what I said. I didn't say name.
Oh, I'm sorry. NIN. Perfect. Good. Yes. In a table that is called Nigerians, the primary key is going to be NIN. That is going to be your national identification number. Now, remember, I told you that primary key is a unique identifier for each record in the table. Now, let me ask you a question. What makes the NIN the primary key for Nigerians?
Because it's only it can only identify one single person, one number.
Exactly. no two Nigerians can have the same NIN. That's the same thing for the primary keys in a table. The primary key in a table exists because it is used to uniquely identify each record, meaning that no two records or rows can have the same primary keys. That is the same thing. No two Nigerians can have the same NIN. You understand? It is unique for everybody. Another one could be BVN. Have you seen any two persons that have the same BVN before?
Not yet.
He said not yet.
No.
Yes,
Not
I don't think
possible.
it's possible. I don't think it's possible. You understand? You cannot
What
have
about
that.
account
Okay.
number?
You say what?
Account number, your bank account number.
No two persons can have the same bank. So in a table that is called bank or account, your account number is your unique ID because no two person that has an account with a bank or bank in Nigeria can have the same account number. So it is unique for every account holder. You understand?
For
So that
account
is
number,
what primary keys
for
are.
account number, it do happen. It do duplicate. For account number, it do happens. That
So
means
two
two
people
different
have,
banks having the same. Yes, two different banks having the same account number for two different persons. It do happen.
yeah, I've not seen that
Account number
before.
for you.
But thank you for
I'm a
bringing
living
that.
experience.
Wow,
So my
interesting.
Yeah, it
not
happens.
yet is still invalid.
Wow.
Like Bambi
So
and Obi.
okay, so account number is invalid in the question. All right, good. Now, so that is it. Okay, that is what primary keys are. Okay, and that's what primary keys are. Okay, or that's whatever it is, English. Go foreign keys next. Okay. Now, what is a foreign key? You see, the name suggests foreign. Foreign keys create relationships between tables. Now, this is, I told you that primary keys and foreign keys is the foundation upon which everything in SQL is built upon. Now, what are these type of databases called? Relational databases, Abi? We said
Yes.
relational databases. What did we say relational databases are? Why do we call them relational? Why do we call them relational? What is relational? When you say relational, SQL is
Because
English language, ladies and gentlemen.
Just have
It
some.
stores data in a table. You
No, they have
predefine
something in
relationship.
common.
Now, let
They
me
have
say,
something in common.
if you call somebody your relation, what does it mean?
They have
Blood
something in
tie.
common.
Related by
Blood
blood.
You have
tie.
a
By blood.
relationship, Abby. Use
Yes,
the
they
right
have
word
something
now.
in common.
Relationship now is relation that best relationship. Is it not it? So now these things are called relational databases in the first place because the tables. Now, let me take it again for those of you that may not understand. We said that relational databases are a type of database that stores and manages data in tables. That is where the data is stored. But then, you see these tables that are inside of this database, they have relationships between them. And it is a collectiveness of this relationship that makes it relational databases, okay? But one thing we understand is that the tables that exist inside of a relational database, they have relationships. Now, do you know what brings that relationship? The relationship between the tables inside of a relational database are established using foreign keys, linking the records in one table to the records in another table. hereby forming what we call relational
I like to read
databases.
this one.
Oh, clap for me now. Why they do like this? Clap for me.
You don't do that.
Are you not understanding?
I
Are you not,
what's all
who
this
is
about
disturbing
Ask
this
Leno
class?
They're not the
Who is doing this? I'll kick this person out of this class. So what's this now?
Elvis, stop now. Elvis.
Like, is SQL not easy for you? Why are you playing? Like, why are you thinking it's very, very hard? Very, very easy, straightforward, simple. It's just you that has that's making it hard inside of your head. You understand? I'm here on today. Yeah. Listen carefully. I will take it again for the sake of those that are slow in understanding. Yes, Jonathan.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Please,
you
you
too.
said
Good evening.
SQL is for relation.
Good afternoon.
You said relational database. That SQL is just for relational database. So I want to ask, does it have anything to do with all this machine learning for non-relational data?
I don't understand your question, please.
Can SQL be used in machine learning for
Yes,
analyzing
SQL.
non-relational?
No, SQL cannot be used to analyze machine learning. It's Python and R that is used to do machine learning things. Yeah, but you could use Python to query an SQL database and even in a non-SQL database. I don't know if you understand.
Okay.
Yeah, SQL Python can be used. What am I coming again? From where?
Lokoja.
With the explanation, Sha, you say Python and arrow. I didn't get that part.
Yeah,
Sir.
Python and R. Yeah, Python and R. They are the languages that are used for machine learning. You understand? Yeah. But do you know that you can use Python to access a database? So you could use Python to access a database and even possibly do a machine learning stuff with Python on the database. But SQL itself cannot do machine learning. You understand? It's Python that can do machine learning. Sure you get. But let's not go into machine learning. Why are we go? Machine learning is far from you guys. Oh God.
So, hello, can I say something?
Yes, please, sir.
So I would just say that SQL, right? Before we jump to machine learning, I would just say SQL can be used to arrange the data properly, to structure the data, because most data sets we actually see are very messy and very unclean. And in most organizations or companies, so their data is always very large. Like what you're trying to explain to us. So SQL is something that we can actually use to get the data, the actual data we need, to actually make the cleaning process very seamless for us before we go into Python and any other analytics tools.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct.
Please, sir, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Please, between Excel and SQL, which can be used in cleaning data effectively and easily?
See, you better use your Excel to clean your data. I would rather sweep main road, expressway. I would rather you sweep expressway with broom than to clean data with SQL. You get now. You could use SQL to clean data, but that flexibility is not there. Like when you use Excel, you understand? Yes, Excel has a lot of stuff. You could use Power Query, you could use functions, you could use a couple of stuff, even VBA. You get very, very easy. So Excel every time for me. You get.
So
Yes,
for Excel,
yes.
you cannot use Excel because no, you can use Excel, but what about you're in a big organization and the rows, for example, now is more than, let's say, 10,000 or 20. They are using very large data sets. You might have to use SQL because not everything Excel can handle.
No, you can actually. You see, this is why you people need mentorship and experience. You see, now, because I told you that an Excel sheet can only contain 1.148,000 rows of data, does not mean that it cannot hold more than that. You understand? Now, let me show you guys. Let me digress a little bit. Let me digress because of this, okay? Now, do you know that I could pull millions and millions and millions of data from SQL into into Excel from SQL? Now, watch me. This is my Excel. Let me create a new sheet. I'm creating a new sheet. I want to create a new sheet. Are you guys following me? Are you seeing what I'm doing? Are you seeing what I'm doing?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You see my Excel sheet, okay? So when you come to data, you see data here, okay? When you come to get data, okay, you come to from database, you would see SQL Server database. Are you seeing SQL Server database there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
click on
I see.
SQL Server database. Now, when you click on SQL Server database, all you just need to do is to provide your server name so that SQL will be, the Excel will be able to know where this data is coming from, okay? So to get your server name, you come back to your SQL here. You see this place where you say connect, this place where you usually connect before you jump into SQL Server, where you say server name. Just come here, copy your server name, go back to
Okay.
Excel, and then paste it, okay?
Paste
Now,
it.
if you have the
Okay.
specific database where you want to get this data from, that specific database, you can put the name, okay? So let me come back here. Let's say the name of my database is Aurora. So I'll just copy the name. You could type it there, but me, I don't want to type anything. Just want to do this, okay? So I'll just click on OK. So when you click on OK, it is going to try to create a connection from Excel here to SQL. Okay, it's coming up, it's loading up. Give it a second. Good. Can you see that it has accessed all the data that is inside of that database? Can you see I have 4 tables here? See the 4 tables that I have here? Has data. You see that Excel has been able to locate it here. Okay. Now let's say, for example, I click on transaction. Okay. You see this transaction now. Now, mind you, this data has not yet come into Excel straight. It has not. Now, say for example, you want to use Power Query to clean this data. You don't want to use SQL, you don't want to use Excel, or you want to use this data in Excel, but you want to clean it with Power Query, you could just click on Transform. When you click on Transform, it is going to open Microsoft Power Query Editor. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please, I'm not.
So now you can now perform every cleaning stuff that you want to do. But the trick now that allows you to load more than 2 million or even 5 million rows of data to Excel without loading it to Excel, but you can do the analysis on Excel, is when you say close and load, when you come here to load it, oh, I don't fuck up. I click close and load. I was supposed to click on the drop down, but it's all right. So you see the data is large. See the data is large. See, this is about 157,000 rows of data. But let me go back to edit. Let me go back to Power Query, okay? Let me load it again for you to see. Now, when you click on this drop down, it has left. But there's a way we could do it, and it will be close and load to. Okay, so you give it the specific place or specific angle where you want to load it to. Okay, so I'll just click on it. Has already loaded. You get it has already loaded. So let me do it again. Let me close this. Don't save. So let me quickly do that again. Guy, we've gone beyond what we are supposed to do. Yeah, let me just take you guys on this. Get data from database, SQL Server database. It's you. Now you go lag. It's not me that will lag. It's not my screen that will lag in Jesus' screen. Now you go lag.
Hey, Memo.
So we click on OK. So we connect to the database again. Transaction data. Now, okay, say for example, say I don't want to transform it, okay? So you see this load tool. When you click on this drop down, you see load tool, eh? When you click on load tool, you see it brings up a dialog box. Let me know if you are seeing a dialog box or your screen is lagging.
I see. Yeah, I can see.
Yes, we are seeing it.
Okay, now can you see that it says select how you want to view this data in your workbook? Normally, the data should come as a table. By default, it is a table, but don't do that. Just say only create connection. You understand? So just create it as a connection. Click on OK. Now, this data is going to be inside of your Excel without being inside of your Excel. Let's proceed with SQL. Maybe when you guys pay for Excel class, I'll teach you magic. Okay? So, where did we stop? Now, does anybody have any question? Anybody has any question? Anybody has any question? Is there anything that I've said so far that you don't understand? Yes?
Good evening.
Yes, please.
Yeah. About the primary key, you talked about Nigerians and what are their primary key as Nigerians. Can you give us like another example? Because like, it's foreign key as well.
Foreign keys. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we were still talking about foreign keys before the interruption happened, okay? Now, when we talk about the foreign keys, we say that the relationships between the tables are established using foreign keys, linking the records in one table to records in another table. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you something. This column, the person that asked this question, Benjamin.
I can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Can you see that currently I'm on the transactions table? Yes, I'm on the transactions table.
Yeah.
What is the name of this column?
Merchant ID.
Merchant ID. Take note of that, okay? Good. Now, let me open this merchant table. Let me open this merchant table. I've opened another table. That is the merchant table. What is this?
Merchant ID. MCC ID. Merchant ID.
That is merchant ID. Right? Now,
yeah.
Okay. You see, this table is the merchant table. Yes. This merchant ID that is inside of this merchant table, is it a primary key here or is it a foreign key in the merchant table? The merchant ID in the merchant table, is it a primary key or a foreign key?
A primary key.
Why
Unique
did you say
identification? You need identification.
Good. So this merchant ID is the primary key
in merchant
the merchant table. Now, let me tell you something. Let me give you.
I have a question. Quick one. Oh, I'm so sorry for jumping. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say something about this merchant ID, right? So yes, this is a merchant ID, right? So typically when we see something like MCC ID, right, in the finance sector, so like you said, they are unique identifiers. So it's possible that two merchants can have the same merchant ID, that is MCC ID. I don't know if you get. So it's possible for two people to have the same thing, maybe because it depends on the industry or what it's representing. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. Like, for example, now, let's say 5541 could be fire service, right? No, typically, we have a rule book that shows all these kind of IDs. So it's just used to identify.
I'm explaining. You are explaining. What are you explaining?
I'm sorry.
He's jumping.
I never go far from waiting they talk now. Now see wait,
Two
waiting they talk. That's
professors.
where I
Two
am. That's where I
professors in
am.
one class. Two professors in one class.
Okay,
I beg
That is
you,
let's
make our
rephrase.
brain no explode. Oh.
You Muna wait my answer question now. Now, let's take it again. I was trying to give you guys a tip before we started answering the question. Okay. Now, you know, for you to know the primary key in a table, I will tell you something. The primary key in a table is usually indicative of the parent table. You get, it is usually, primary keys is usually indicative of the parent table. So what do I mean? The primary key will always literally show you the table that gave birth to it. And if you find a key that resembles the table where it is coming from, that is literally the primary key. So if we have this table that says MCC and you see MCC ID, what does it mean?
That's the primary key.
It's the primary key on the MCC.
That's the primary key of that
Inside
particular
of that
table.
you understand?
Yes.
Inside
Okay,
of
of the
that
particular
particular table. So if you see, let's say for example, if you see a table called account, and you see account ID. What is account ID?
The
Primary key on the
Primary
call
key.
account.
On the
Good.
account
So
key.
that is the clue that I'm telling you, that to know a primary key, it is normally indicative of its parent table. So if you see an account table and you see a column instead of that same account table with ID, that is the primary key. So where is Benjamin?
I'm here. I'm here.
So in the MCC table, what is MCC ID?
The primary key of the table.
That is the
Of
primary key.
MCC.
Abi? Now,
Merchant
this
Of the MCC.
merchant ID, that
Okay.
is the primary key in the merchant table. You now went to the transactions table. That is another table that is called transactions, and you now find merchant ID. What is this merchant ID?
As a foreign
Okay, that's the foreign key of the previous table.
key on the
Do
transaction.
you understand? Do you
Yeah.
understand? This merchant ID here is foreign to the transactions table. It is foreign. It is not this table that gave birth to it. It is foreign to this table. You don't understand the English. So you have merchant ID from the merchant table. What is merchant ID from merchant table doing in transactions table? Should I tell you?
It's a foreigner.
Link. Foreign key.
Exactly.
Yes, link.
Exactly. And by being a foreign key in the transactions table, it is creating a relationship between the merchant table and the transaction table because it has created a common column between the two tables. Do you understand? Now, it's just like when you want to get married to somebody, or when you want to start liking somebody. I think most of the affection comes from the thing that is common between you and this person. That is what creates the common ground. True or false?
That is
true.
That is the same thing that happens in SQL. So the foreign key.
Sometimes they open.
You say what?
Sometimes it's the opposite too.
So, like I was saying, the foreign key, now let me explain in English for you. The foreign key is a column or a set of columns in a table that refers to the primary key of another table. It establishes a link between the tables, allowing for the creation of relationship. So the foreign key in one table typically corresponds to the primary key in another table. Wait, let me explain that in English because before I spoil your head. I said the foreign key in one table typically corresponds or typically refers to the primary key of another table. So inside of this transactions table, you said merchant ID was what?
Foreign key.
What?
Foreign key.
So what table is this merchant ID referring to?
The merchant table.
Merchant table. So that is why I told you that the foreign key in one table typically corresponds to the primary key in another table.
Okay.
Ah! Oh God, SQL is too sweet. Like, oh God. All right. Olayinka, you have a question for me. Ah. It's me and you people. One of us will give up. And I told you guys that me, I will be the last man standing. All right. Olayinka, please, you've been raising your hands. Ask me your question. Then, before Jasmine. Olayinka. Okay. Jasmine, please.
The recording has stopped. That's what I want to just highlight. The recording has stopped.
It has not. It has not stopped. To now your own
It's still
recording
recording.
go stop. It's still recording. All right.
All right, then. Thank you. Thank you.
But thank you for bringing it to my notice, please. Thank you so much. All right. So that is literally what the primary keys and the foreign keys are. Okay. Good. Now we understand primary keys and foreign keys. Okay. Now let's talk about what makes up a table: rows and columns. Sorry, give me a sec. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, please.
All right. So now let's talk about the rows and columns. Okay. Now, when we talk about tables, when we talk about rows and columns, we're talking about tables, right? So I showed you the table. So let's talk about the rows. These are the rows. So this is row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4, row number 5, number 6, number 7, and so on and so forth. Okay. So like I said, a row in a table contains the actual data or records. Each row represents a unique instance of the entity table is designed to model. For example, in a table that is representing transactions, each row represents different transactions. Can't you see it? You understand? That is why I told you that each row represents a unique instance of the entity that table is designed to model. So this is a unique transaction in the transaction table. Unique transaction, unique transaction, unique transaction. So each one of them different. Do you understand? That's the rule. Then for the columns in a table define the attributes or properties of the data. So each column has a specific data type. This will bring us to the next thing we discuss, data types. Okay. Each column has a data type, and each column holds value that is corresponding, that is related to the corresponding attribute. Okay? So say, for example, in a transaction table, I have transaction ID, transaction date, and transaction amount, and so on and so forth. Okay, but okay, 1 hour.
So your sound is bad. We can't. You're breaking.
Leave a break.
Ah,
How about now?
Clearly.
All right. How about now? I can hear very well.
Still breaking.
From the side, or is it similar to everybody? So,
It's breaking kind of on my side too.
It's breaking from my side too.
you break this thing.
It's not breaking, it's perfect.
ah.
Where is this perfect? I beg.
Okay. How about now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Very well.
Clear.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So now, I think I've given us a little bit of the introduction to what databases are and what makes up the databases. Okay. If your mic is on, don't disturb my class. Isn't it? All right. So I would actually love us to start writing code. So what do you think? Yeah.
Yes, Daddy.
All right. So now, like I was telling you guys in the group chat, so I wanted us to create a database, okay? We'll create a database, we'll create the tables and all of that stuff, okay? Create database, create the tables, design everything, okay? It is actually very, very straightforward and it is not complex at all, okay? Now, so okay, I believe everybody has seen the details of the database that we wanted to create, okay? So we wanted to create a database for like a blog platform. How many of you know Medium? How many of you know Medium? Or
One.
Medium, yes. Yes, everybody should know Medium now. Medium, where you go to read articles, you go to read blog posts and all of that stuff. Yeah, or blog, normal blog, you get. So what actually powers those kind of things are databases, okay? You see all those blogs that people write. Me, myself, I write blog posts. I write articles as well. All those things you read on a website, on a web page, they are stored in a database somewhere. You understand? So we want to create that database that can store that kind of data, okay? That can now your job as a data analyst is to analyze all sort of data, whether it's coming from a blog, whether it's coming from wherever, it does not concern you. But so while you're using SQL, one of the major things that you'll be doing is you'll be designing databases, okay? Okay, you'll be designing databases literally. Now, this project is a fine blend of, I'm trying to make it, normally it's not beginners, okay, but I'm trying to break it down in the simplest way possible so that those of us who are beginners will still be able to follow up and maybe have their first solid project, okay? Something very, very real world and not all those things you are doing online, you know, writing rubbish queries. Okay, so now, like the message I sent to you guys in the group chat, I said we'll build a blog platform. Now, This is the database project for a blogging platform that is similar to Medium, WordPress, or Substack, okay? These platforms allows writers to publish their content, allows their readers to interact with the content, and the system to track everything in a scalable and organized way, okay? So, and the target users for this platform are going to be the authors, that is the people who are writing the articles, the readers, that is the people who are reading the articles, and the admins, that is the people who are going to be in charge of administrating this particular stuff, okay? So this database is going to be designed in such a way where it will account for people writing their blog posts, people that will be reading, people that will be commenting, people that will be liking, people that will be saving, people that will be subscribing. I believe some of you here have subscribed to my Medium articles before. Yes or no? Some of you here have subscribed to my Medium articles. People that will be paying for VIP, you get. Now, the goal of this is to build a relational database backend that can support all of these interactions securely, efficiently, and reliably. Do we understand? Do we understand?
Yes, it's clear.
Nobody's saying anything
Sorry, please,
again.
can you come?
You guys are not following
I
me.
didn't get you. Sorry, please, can you come again? I didn't get to that last.
It's like they've left me in this class.
We are. For real.
We're here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now it's you, sir.
So now let's build something, okay? Now you see, I'm gonna be apologizing to the I'm gonna be apologizing to the beginners. Okay, you have to look, you may have to like practice this stuff again before you get it very well. You not get it. I'm not sure you get it like 100% the first time. Okay, now, and I don't believe anybody
Sorry,
should even get it.
excuse me, Splendor. Sorry, excuse me, Splendor, please. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But sorry, if this SQL server, server, is it different from SQL Workbench?
Yes, it's different from my SQL Workbench.
Okay, so but can one have a workbench and also have a server?
Yes, I have. Can't use. Are you seeing? Okay, it's not here, but you should be able to see that I have more than 3 SQL environments. It does nothing affect
then
no one. The other ones did not affect themselves. It's just like having Power BI and Tableau in the same place. Nothing.
okay.
Different
So
applications. Nothing.
sorry. Oh, okay. So sorry now. So one needs to download the server alone, right?
SQL Server.
Yes.
Yeah, SQL Server and SSMS. That is the SQL Server
Okay.
Management Studio. Yes.
Okay, but then sorry
All
again.
right.
Did you drop the link for me to use to download this server, please, on the group chat?
Yes. Yes. I don't know why you're
Okay.
asking me this question now when you could have read the messages on that platform.
I'm sorry, I
Give me
joined
excuse
late.
now.
I'm sorry, I
She's the
joined
class
All
late.
right.
captain.
Thank you.
All right. Yes. Precious Williams. Yes.
Okay, so sorry. I'm really sorry in advance. So I have both the I have both the my
By
SQL that
dinner.
you're using. I have my SQL and I have the SQL Server Management. But my issue is that I downloaded this Microsoft SQL like years back, right? And I didn't really get to use it. So now I have it on my system, but I can't remember like the password or something I used for it. So I can't really, I mean, it's open, right? But I don't really think I can do anything with it.
Yeah, you are like the first person who I'm seeing that has a password on SQL Server. Like, what are you doing?
It's the server management she doesn't have. You need to download that.
Wait, the server management is I think I have it. Is it
No,
SQL
after
Server
class.
Management Studio?
After class.
Okay. Thank you.
Yetunde.
Good evening, everyone. I don't really have a question. I only have a suggestion that if we have one or two, I think we should just drop it in the chat instead of disturbing the teacher, or we should drop it on the group if you have any questions.
All right, thank you so much. Timmy Lane, you have a question? Timmy Lane. All right. If
All questions will be attended to in the group, but sir, please, can it be like attended one after the other? Because I was trying to ask a question in the group, but it was not being attended to. So please, I'll be very happy because it's almost all of us are having this same issue
you
of
people, you people,
having
you people,
my
you
SQL bench, my
people
other.
have mad audacity. Mad audacity. Like, are you paying anybody to answer your question? Oh God. Oh God. You guys are killing me for real. Like you guys are your audacity, they shake me. Guy, drop your question. You see, like for me now, I mean I have to work, you get me, I work as well. It's not only this thing that I do, you get, and I'm not leave my 9 to 5 to be attending all of your questions. You could go to YouTube, make your research and all of that stuff, like you guys, every single question that you have is the answer is in YouTube, but you guys will not do that. Okay. It does not make sense. So you people should try and help yourselves out, okay? Please. Every single technical question you've asked me, the answer is on YouTube. Just search that exact stuff. That exact stuff that you're going through. You'll find thousands of video has been made on it. I'm very, very sure. Sure you get. So yeah. Yusuf, that's the last question I'm going to take.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Please, sir, I want to make a suggestion for these questions. Maybe we should just have a specific minute. Maybe the class will be maybe once it is an hour class, when we reach 1 hour on the class. So maybe between 1 hour 10 minutes, we just make 10 minutes for the questions. So we should just put our questions in a note. Then during the question time, then we can be asking our questions, because the way we are interrupting the class by bringing different questions is really drawing us back. So we don't really much have time. And this is a free class that we are just privileged to be part of. So I think we should just learn how to work hands in hands together. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm really, really sorry for the interruption, guys. I'm really sorry, okay? Good. So yeah. Now, like I said, the goal of this project is to build a relational database backend. God of mercy. God of mercy. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the first recording. I'm going to stop recording.